Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Please continue to subscribe, rate, and review. We're having a really, really strong first almost 6 months, 5 months of 2025, and looking forward to the upcoming football and basketball seasons, obviously. And now's as good as time as any. If you have not done so already, subscribe, rate, and review the show and help us continue to build this audience. All right. So BYU's over-under win total from our friends over at FanDuel, as well as a bevy of other sports books out there, has been set at, wait for it, 7.5. Wow, that is really, really low as compared to BYU and what they accomplished last year, winning 11 games. Now, remember last year, BYU's over-under win total, 4.5. They surpassed that in the first 5 games of the year and went on to absolutely smoke that, more than double in terms of the overall wins they accomplished last year. Well, here's the deal. BYU is not being downgraded by these sports books out there, including our friends at FanDuel. In fact, the biggest thing is they think that the Big 12 is going to be a dog-eat-dog conference this year because the highest win totals I have seen anywhere are 8.5 wins in the Big 12. They think that the top tier of the Big 12 conference are a bunch of teams who are just going to beat the crap out of each other. And if you go by just the overall win totals, the winning team in the conference could have just 9 wins. Do I believe that's going to happen? No, I do believe that at least one team, and fingers crossed, it's the BYU Cougars, surpass that and make a run at 10, 11, maybe even 12 wins and become the creme de la creme of said league. Well, one national insider believes that BYU is a good bet to take if you're so inclined on this, and that is Bruce Feldman. He did a great piece for The Athletic over the weekend, and he broke down teams he believes are a good bet to take the over on, as well as some who are the under. Here's what he had to say about BYU. He said, BYU 7.5, take the over. The Cougars have an experienced quarterback in Jake Retzlaff, whom they run enough to pick up key first downs. There's good skill talent around him, such as running back L.J. Martin, receivers Chase Roberts and Parker Kingston. Tight end Carson Ryan, who transferred from Utah, should be a terrific addition. They'll also have one of the best linebacker groups in the country, led by Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker. They have 6 games they'll have a clear advantage in: Portland State, Stanford, ECU, Arizona, Cincinnati, and UCF. So right there, he believes you got 6 wins already on the docket. If that over-under is at 7.5, all you do is pick up 2 more wins. He also mentions this. They go to Boulder to face a Colorado team that they smashed in the Alamo Bowl, and a team replacing its starting quarterback, most of its wide receivers, and its Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter. Beyond that, they have home games against West Virginia, TCU, and Utah. They also adds trips to Iowa State, and Texas Tech won't be easy. And I completely agree with those last 2. The trips to Iowa State and Texas Tech, those ones, probably the most likely losses on the schedule for BYU. But beyond that, there's 10 games right there for BYU they could pick up very, very easily. And that's why I, alongside a guy like Bruce Feldman, I'm sure a number of you out there as well, believe that taking BYU on the over 7.5, that's an easy call. Now, I am a person who's never really done sports betting in my life. If you like to wager, good on you. It's to everybody, to each their own. And we have a lot of people out there who like to comment. They're first timers coming around the podcast. Why is BYU podcast being sponsored by FanDuel? Well, it's a network-wide initiative. That's the thing I keep reiterating to people. It's not just specific to this show. It goes across the entire Locked On network. But the bigger point is BYU is a good bet to go over 7.5. In fact, if I were so inclined, I would go and put a significant amount of money on BYU right now on that over. Now, don't construe that as me telling you guys to do that. That's not my place to do that. You have to obviously do it of your own volition if you are so inclined. But I believe that BYU, they have got a really strong team. I have got a really, really strong feeling that this BYU team could do some really, really cool stuff this year. Now, that's gut feeling, obviously, but the numbers also indicate the BYU should have a very, very strong team. You bring back a lot of contributors, and obviously when you have your quarterback, running back, you got a nice contingent of wide receivers to get the ball out to. I think people are continuing to underrate a guy like Carson Ryan. You want to get BYU back into the tight end business? Carson Ryan's a very, very good bet to do that. Now, I know his numbers from his career to this point don't indicate that he is going to be a breakout star, but I'm telling you, based on what I heard in spring camp, what I saw with my own eyes, he looks like a difference maker at tight end for BYU, and that could really unlock this BYU offense. Then, Jay Hill last year on BYU's defense What a revelation it was. He got the most out of everybody he had in that unit, and all they have done is really upgrade in many respects. You add guys like a Keanu Tanavasa and a Justin Kirkland who have got bona fide credentials as power 4 contributors, if not downright stars, on the interior of your defensive line. Well, that's going to keep guys like a Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker that much cleaner and allow them to make more plays in the backfield. I like what the safety contingent led by Tanner Wall offers as well on the back end of BYU's defense. And simply put, I believe in Jay Hill to an incredible level. He has proven himself time and time again, even before he got to BYU. He made Weber State a perennial contender at the FCS level. And those defenses he has fielded have just been absolutely ferocious. They just don't give up. And that's what I like about this BYU team is they also have a collective chip on their shoulder. Remember last year, they talked time and time again throughout that 9-0 start that they were continually being underrated. I still will never get over the fact that they went to UCF last year as an undefeated top 15 ranked team and were an underdog to a sub 500 Knights squad. That screamed to me that for whatever reason, the odds makers out there did not know what to do with BYU last year. And the nice part is I think when BYU went and smashed Colorado in that Alamo Bowl, I think it said everything that BYU wanted to say last year to the haters who thought that they were perennially, or not perennially, but overrated all season long last year. They show that they were legitimate. They show that they should have probably been more in the mix for the college football playoff, etc. Can they accomplish that this year? We'll have to wait and see. But I think 7.5, it's way, way too low for BYU unless, and I have to add this caveat, unless major injury strikes the BYU Cougars, it feels like they are a very, very solid bet to easily surpass 7.5 wins. And in fact, I would probably have put the line myself if I were an odds maker at 9.5, because I think BYU can get to 10 wins. And really those two, the road game at Iowa State the week after but facing Utah at home, that's a really, really tough back-to-back gauntlet. And obviously Texas Tech, if they're all they're cracked up to be and all the additions that Texas Tech has made in the transfer portal are legitimate, that Red Raiders squad, by the time BYU gets there, could be formidable and could be a very, very tough trip going to Lubbock. But the nice part is I think Kalani Sitake's got a good hold on this team. And the nice part is he's got a lot of good leadership in terms of the players on this squad. And they all want to go out there and prove themselves and say, hey, yeah, 11-2 was great last year. Let's see if we can one-up that one more time and see what we can do in the final stanza for a lot of these guys like Jake Retzlaff, Chase Roberts. They're in their final run with BYU. They want to go out on an even higher note than they did last year, and the opportunity exists. So we'll see how it all goes for Kalani Sitake and company in 2025. All right, coming up next, we're going to finish up today's show on the conference level. The revenues across the Power 4 conferences are down as a whole. Now, it's ever so slightly, but should that be of concern for BYU fans? That should be a concern for Brigham Young University in terms of, hey, we have been thinking we're going to get this amount of money. Is it a one-year blip or is it a sign of the times for BYU sports? We'll delve into that as we wrap up this edition of Locked On Cougars next.